Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of GregTech New Horizons. How are you guys doing today? How's life? Do you like my new office? Good, you should. Today we are going to work on something incredibly important. It's called Go to Hell, also known as polytetrafluoroethylene or Teflon. And why do we need to do that? Well, I'm very short on fuel, and the only way that we can fully automate diesel is through a chemical reactor. And that requires a lot of Go to Hell. In order to start making the Go to Hell, we need to start by making chloroform. It's not a very complicated thing, we just need to mix methane and chlorine. And we have plenty of both. And there you go, that is chloroform. The quest wants us only to make 24 buckets, and that should be the quest. There you go. But here is the problem. I need 3 chemical reactors, so we're going to make much more. Well, basically as much as we can, because we're kind of short on methane. Ooh, blood. Oh, more blood. He died at the very sight of me. That is good. Very cool. The next step that we have to perform before getting to Go to Hell is that we need to mix the chloroform with hydrofluoric acid, which is perfectly fine. It is a combination of fluorine and hydrogen. And there you go, hydrofluoric acid. Now that we have hydrofluoric acid and we have chloroform, here is your Go to Hell. As a byproduct, we are also going to get diluted hydrofluoric acid, which we can recycle it. Cause you know, fluorine is kind of expensive, so if I get half of it back, I'm still happy. But did you know, that is not our entire project for the day. We have a bigger project, and that requires almost 1 stack of electric motors from the LVH. So there you go. I haven't made them in a while, so yeah. But it's actually very good, cause my inventory panel was almost full. And talking about a full inventory, we also need a lot of item filters because I want to expand our clean room. And that's very good, cause literally you just spend stacks and stacks of resources. Nice. Very nice. One thing that I kind of forgot is that now that we have vacuum freezers and we do have super coils over here, we can actually make manually. Look, basically I should be able to give a very nice upgrade to my sword. And yes, I'm injured. But in any case, you might notice that we have another issue. I have dismantled our farm and that was our only source of food. What should we do? We are getting industrial, so let us have industrial food. During the last episode, as a quest reward, I got a tin can. This is from IC2 and you can basically fill it in with any type of food that you want. It does not really matter which kind of food you use, it just depends, well, how much saturation it's going to give you, so you will get more tin cans. That's it. But the most important thing is, it's not dependent on the spice of life. So you can just eat it. And you get your tin can back. The problem that we had so far is that in order to make a tin can, you actually need an HV bending machine. But it's really fast. And well, basically the idea is that we're going to fill it in with potatoes. Not this one, or at least that is how I'm assuming it's going to work. So tin can goes in, potato goes in, and here is my food. Perfect. In any case, we have a manual sword blade and we can upgrade our sword. It's not significantly better, but it doubles the durability and it adds 1 attack damage. Of course, we are not garbage people and we're not going to put a machine down and call it a day. We need to have a structure for it. It does not have to be something beautiful, it just doesn't have to look horrible. And I'm assuming something like this is not the worst. You're facing the wrong way. No, don't rain. Rumbling in the distance. Is that just rain or do we get the occultists? Yeah, I think it was just the rain. I would really love you if you face the correct way. You know what? I'm not picky. You go over there, you go on top. And that is fine. Also, if it's not very obvious, we're taking the potatoes from here. We have a drawer for the potatoes, we have a drawer for the tin cans, and we get the food. And it's really good. We just go with a teeny tiny bit of concrete. Yes, this should be okay. I kind of like it. Of course, the entire reason that we have to go this crazy is that water should not hit this block, otherwise explosions. So, blaze rods. Yes, we did get the seeds, but I'm not in the mood for farming. We need a lot of them. And from the stupid loot bags, we should have some fire resistance. Great. See you very soon. So why did we need blaze rods? Well, I am going to need 30 brew stands. So far, we can only make 17. And I don't even have the V for it. Well, I just gathered a little bit more. Maybe we can make one? Thank you. 29 more to go. Also, the reason that we can tank the damage from blazes for a short period of time at least is that I have made a ring of shielding for revitalization. You might notice that I have 10 shielding hearts and they regenerate really fast, but unfortunately at the cost of Terra. Basically, we have reached the era of invincibility. Deal with it. I just had to make another business trip to the Nether and I think we should have enough blaze rods. We needed 46 because each 2 of them gives you 2 of the long rods. And in the meantime we can make 2 more. That is going to be very painful. It's very expensive. And the shrooms are kind of nice, but they're not that nice. That is something that I need to do because in order to make a brewery, I need a brew stand. And I need 30 of them. But in any case, I just wanted to explain something. Some of you guys were suggesting to me that I should not get into Thaumcraft and I should be very careful not to get any warp. That is very true and warp is very dangerous. But in Thaumcraft, there is something called Eldritch Revelation. You should have a certain amount of warp so that this tab is unlocked. And yes, by random chance and after suffering a little bit of warp, we have unlocked it. And that basically means we have access to void metal. That is good. I can finally get my robes. Also, the warp that I have at this very moment is not that bad, you just saw an effect. But generally I only have one warp effect which could be potentially dangerous, and that is, he calls me "you feel lonely" and spawns a creeper on top of me. I was very lucky because once he got stuck in the roof and suffocated to death, and once I was leaving the room he spawned behind me, so I just closed the door. But it is okay, I have already unlocked the salts and that is expensive. Fine. I can live with that. Anyhow, let me gather my brew stands, which could take maybe, I don't know, half an hour or so, and I'll be right back. Anyways, if it is not obvious what is it that I want to do, it has to do with this distillation tower over here. If you guys remember, this guy is taking fermented biomass and is giving us a bunch of goodies. The ones which I'm very interested in is methane, acetic acid, and ammonia. Ammonia is something that we need in very large quantities in order to make nitric acid. Acetic acid is something that we need in very large quantities in order to make acetone, which is used in processing platinum, I think. And methane is for go to hell. The problem that we have is that this guy is going to work with 1000 millibuckets of fermented biomass, and this is how fast we're getting 20 millibuckets of biomass. It is garbage, I know, and there was someone behind me. Nice. So what is the alternative? This is an advanced brewery, it can handle 1 sugarcane every 4 seconds. An HV brewery is going to do that in 2 seconds, but we would need a lot of them, and they're quite expensive. So what are we going to do? We're just going to spam LV machines. We're going to have 30 of them eventually, and that is equivalent to having 8 HV machines. And that is literally 4 sugarcane per second. That is going to be amazing. So we are going to make a tower over here, and thankfully it's literally centered. Well, it was supposed to be centered with this, but it's also centered with the harvester for sugarcane. Also, in order to power them, we have a few high pressure solar boilers, and that should be more than enough. I do have a reservoir under Niet to provide them with water. And since each of the machines is only going to consume 3 EU per tick in order to process 1 sugarcane, we only have 3 turbines. That's it. So what we need to do is that I have made some electrum item pipes, and these are actually really good. They can handle 2 stacks per second. And we're going to use it in order to extract the sugarcane. You will not drop down, right? Okay. And just to make sure water is not going to affect the cables, here is a plate. And this is vanadium steel plate. It looks nice. Also, for powering the machines, we're going to use lossless cables because we're making a tower, and if we use normal cables, the losses are going to be crazy. You can argue that if I would have gone with HV machines, I would have had to spend less time on making brew stands, and that is incredibly true, but we are managing our times efficiently and we're making tons of resources, as well as nichrome ingots for new coils. Obviously, electrolyzing stuff is something that I can never stop, and I have been making more chloroform. So we are managing our time efficiently, and that is the point. Besides, this is a setup that I can just set it and forget about it. And that really doesn't happen that often in this mod pack. I am missing 4 of the machines, but let us get started anyways, because I'm actually curious how it's going to work. What? Oh, this is the LV one, and we never made it. So obviously in the center we're going to have a line of cables which goes up, then we shall have our brew stands. I really need a jetpack. It's actually something that we could have done a long time ago, and I don't know why I have been lazy about it. We are missing 4, right? So you are extra. Oh, I just noticed a giant flaw. These guys are going to need water, so I need to use one side in order to give them water. Then they're going to make biomass, so I need one side in order to extract the biomass. how am I going to put the sugarcane in? Now that we have go to hell, can I make you? Oh, it's polyethylene. Oh, but okay. I want to say it's not that bad, and it really isn't that bad. And I don't need that many ender conduits. Aha. Maybe we should do that. What is your transfer rate? 200 millibuckets per second. I think that should be enough in order to power all the machines, because each of the machines is going to need 20 millibuckets of water every 8 seconds. I think it should add up. I don't know, we'll make it and then we'll see. Because I think we also have a lot of vibrant alloy. Perfect. Are you good? Not really. It takes such a long time to make it. And so far we have 32 buckets of go to hell. That is manageable. We shall do that. I'm so glad I did not recycle you. Good. And I think we also need to do it for the quest. Yes, we need 125 of them. Okay. Then we shall have a fluid solidifier. A tank goes on top. I forgot to bring a pump. We're going to ignore that. You're not going in. Why? I don't know. Of course you're not going in. You're not complete. You're tetrafluoroethylene. I need polytetrafluoroethylene. So you're basically hell, not go to hell. So how do we make the other guy? Oxygen chemical reactor. So here is your circuit, here is your oxygen, and here is hell. Start working. Oh, this is incredibly slow. It gives you like half a plate every time. Then I'll be right back. I think I have made a very slight boo-boo. I'm making too much Teflon. We have the 2 stacks of sheets, and this is how much fluid I have left. And I don't really think we need that much for the large chemical reactor, even 3 of them. But in any case, I want some fluid conduits. Let us make them. You are the big one. You're the tiny one. And since we got 48 of the pipes, we also make 48 conduits. So we needed a little bit more alloy plates. That's not it? Oh, I put it in the wrong one. Okay. That explains. So you, my dear friend, you go in, and make me some conduits. I think I need more polyethylene. And the reason that I'm actually making these guys is that these guys can handle 8 different types of fluid. So we can have water and we can also have biomass inside them at the same time. I do need more polyethylene, it's okay. I have a lot of pulp. I also have a lot of sheets. We take them. I don't really remember why I made them. We have it. Oh, it makes capacitors. Okay, they're cheap to make. And I do reckon we have enough in order to get started, so let us start. We can put you over there. This is the reservoir for water. And I think what we're going to do is that you're going to extract on green. And you're going to insert on green. So you guys are getting water? Okay, that is good. And I'm assuming if I have not done anything wrong, you should also get sugarcane. Good. I just connected the pipes. That's it. We shall have a little bit of dire wire down here. You're getting irritating. And you guys start working. Perfect. That is biomass. However, we still need to extract it, so we're going to extract it on red. How hard is it to make a conduit probe? Okay, not gonna happen. And for the moment we're going to deposit the biomass inside the tank, so you're going to be on insert red. Yes, this one. Oh, that was for the signal. I have to change them to red. Yeah, no, extract is red. I haven't done conduits in a while, so yeah. In that case, you, my dear friend, you're going to be on brown because it's easier to set it up. And that means I just have to click once. Yes, we are getting biomass. Good. I just have to do this for the entire machines, and I would say that is far, far better. I love this. Well, not in its current form, but it's gonna work. Now I'm thinking, do we need 2 of these guys? Or maybe there's a backlog, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we need 2 fermenters, cause it's not slowing down. Aha, so you might notice a giant flaw. Not all of them are working. That is because we're not generating that much sugarcane. If we produce a lot of sugarcane, yes, this is going to be insanely fast, but the problem is the crops. That is almost all the seeds that I had at this very moment. I have to breed better ones, and maybe later on I can also reroute the potatoes, cause how much food do you think I'm going to consume? But other than that, I'm actually okay with this. I don't need to do anything. This will work indefinitely. The diesel is a challenge, but that is why we're also going to try and get the chemical reactor. Oh, and yes, I did put the fermenters down here because we can have a floor over here and start processing those fluids. Also, later on we need to have another setup for the resin, because we are getting a lot of resin and we're not doing anything about it. But that is a project that we have to do later. For the moment, I just want my chemical reactor. I need diesel. So we are getting our diesel from oil, shocking I know, but we need a distillation tower so that we get sulfuric light fuel and heavy fuel. Then basically we need 2 chemical reactors, one of them for the light fuel and one of them for the heavy fuel. And then I need a third chemical reactor in order to make the actual fuel. And that one is HV. Okay. Nobody said it's going to be cheap, but it's going to be worth it. I hope. Also, I have been checking, the large chemical reactor itself is not that expensive, cause we only need like 8 of these blocks and that's it. The PTFE pipe casing block is a pain because everything is basically go to hell, but we should be able to manage it. Okay, it has been a while later and I just had a very dark realization. The refinery that we had over here was temporary. We all knew that because we thought we were going to have a better one, using chemical reactors, right? The new one which we are going to make is not going to receive major changes, so it is going to last us for the entire game. So we need to plan things appropriately. Maybe not just for diesel, but also some of the byproducts. So basically we need to make it modular and there is no way in the world that it's going to fit within 2 chunks. I need a bigger area. And since this is going to be our railway, I was thinking we make it over here, that is 9 chunks. I have to fill in the lake a little bit and we have to remove the trees. And since I'm lazy, burn. I think if it doesn't rain, we should be good. Also, there is no way in the world that I can finish everything in one day. Today we're just going to make the diesel part. That's it. I'm literally not going to dismantle my ethylene setup. The only thing that we're going to do is that we're going to disconnect the pipe for making diesel. All of that being said, this is going to be the site of our new refinery. That is our distillation tower. We have 4 fluid outputs, therefore it is 5 tall. We have 1 chemical reactor in order to get light fuel, heavy fuel, and finally diesel. Although this is the part where I'm extremely confused. I do need to input 2 fluids. I also have 2 fluid outputs. But why do I need an input bus or an output bus? There's nothing solid. Anyways, one thing is certain, we need a maintenance hatch. So there you go. And since I should be able to put the input buses and hatches and everything on any site that I want to put one over here. And since according to the tooltips I can put the hatches and buses anywhere that I want, what we're going to do is that we're going to put the energy hatch in the center, we're going to power them from the bottom. The go to hell pipe casing has to go in the center, it has to be touched by a coil, so we're going to use the copper nickel ones. One, by the way, it's a 3x3x3 structure and the controller goes over here. We should be able to get the sulfuric fuel from the top, so here is an input hatch. And the machine is going to give us 2 outputs, so here are 2 output hatches. And again, this is the part where I'm not sure, do we absolutely need to have a bus? I don't know, we just put one over here. So if I surround you with casings, are you going to be okay? And I think I'm going to need more casings. That's a problem. But the question is, are we good? Oh, okay. The structure has formed, but one thing is for certain, we are going to need a lot more casings. The problem is that I don't really know how much. Obviously I also need some PTFE. I don't have a really good setup for it at this very moment, but what I'm going to do is that I get the ingots and run away a little bit. Will you despawn? Yes, I hate bats. Anyways, we put the ingot inside an extractor and we should get the fluid. Okay, so 18 gave me 12 blocks. If I want 6 more blocks, I need 9? I really don't want to waste it, that is the point. And I didn't waste it. Good. So it's still not going to be enough, right? Well, we have 2. I need a little bit more. Yeah, I think I only need 12 more. Of course, we can cheat a little bit, remove this one, put an input bus and an output bus. That should save us 2 blocks. And just before I forget, yes, I do understand they can share walls. I don't like that. So it is done and it's fully functional and we are getting diesel. The problem is, I'm actually really disappointed at this setup. Don't get me wrong, the large chemical reactors are incredibly fast and they are super awesome because I don't have to use cells, they're automatic, they just work with pipes. Because if you guys remember, the old way of making diesel was that we had to pull cells inside the reactors themselves, and that was a very time consuming job and it was very slow. This is fully automatic and I can forget about it. Well, it's not automatic right now because we also need to provide the fuels with hydrogen, which we're not producing it here, so I'm just putting it manually. That is the output, this is the input. But this is the part where I'm disappointed at. This is the speed that we're processing oil. It looks fast until you notice that in order to make 24 buckets of diesel, I need 20 buckets of light fuel. And this is garbage. It is what it is, I can't really do anything about it unless I add another distillery, which requires a lot of stainless steel, which I am preparing, but it's not going to be ready for today. But essentially the way that it works is that this is a distillation tower and every output we get a new chemical. This is sulfuric heavy fuel, which is obviously heavy, so it goes to the bottom output, light fuel goes on the second one, and we are using those two at this very moment. Sulfuric heavy fuel goes inside the reactor, we mix it with hydrogen and we get heavy fuel. Sulfuric light fuel goes inside this reactor, we mix it again with hydrogen and we get light fuel. And of course both of them go inside another chemical reactor and we get diesel. Also, one thing that I did not pay attention to at first was that diesel is actually an HP recipe, so instead of having one MV generator, we needed to have 4. The rest of them are MV and they are decently fast, so I'm not gonna complain. Oh, and by the way, yes, you need an input bus because you need to put the circuit in. That was my bad. Sorry. But I think with that, it is also a good time to wrap up the episode. I still need to gather more resources so that I can make another distillation tower and fully automate diesel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.